Well, it's obviously very difficult. I mean, I take a look at what's happening in this particular movement at this particular time, and I think about my dealings in previous years with Cuban American groups who were in a very similar situation. You had a group of refugees, largely in the United States, representing different factions, spending as much time fighting with each other as they did trying to see regime change in Cuba. And I think that is one of the great temptations that can basically undermine the effectiveness of an opposition group, is that there is so much competition, factionalism, and infighting that goes for who's going to actually emerge as the leader, that sometimes groups and individuals forget what the ultimate goal is. And certainly I have seen that, and I've heard that from people who say, well, why are you so close to the National Council of Resistance of Iran? There are other groups that you could be working with. They represent the real democratic resistance. And from my point of view, it's not up to the government of the United States to necessarily sanction one group or another, or say this group is the favorite. But unfortunately, what has happened with the PMOI and the NCRI over the years is stemming from the groups having been put on the terrorist list during the Clinton years. There was a kind of natural resistance to working with these groups. And obviously that was lifted in large part because of efforts made by many of the people in this room, and because of the United States justice system, which said that the State Department was going to have to come up with actual proof to show that they were terrorists in the State Department's definition. But nonetheless, I think that made it more difficult. And I think some of us hope that with the new administration, and particularly one not named Clinton, that there might be more of an opportunity to have entree, and at least to allow the PMOI to work openly and in the United States, to be given an audience in the United States, to allow travel, et cetera. And right now, it's unclear whether that will happen or not. But it would be my hope that at some point in the future, that will be possible. Because it certainly, from everything that I have seen, both as Ramesh has said, but as we've seen over the years, when you look at the resistance movement in Iran itself, it does seem to have strong following in terms of the NCRI. And so it would seem to me that we do need to work to try to ensure that the NCRI's voice is able to be heard in the halls of government within the United States and to be recognized as a legitimate resistance movement.